What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and was the 13th Doctor a failure? Well, today we're going to find out. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, 2021 did not get off to a good start for Doctor Who because it pulled in its least viewed festive special in its history. It was even beaten by Coronation Street. It pulled in just over 4 million viewers. Now, of course, the BBC would have liked all this news to not be published. They'd prefer to just forget about it. And of course, they kind of got what they wanted because this news was quickly overshadowed by rumours that Jodie Whittaker is due to leave her role of the 13th Doctor by the end of 2021. Now, of course, Doctor Who Series 13 is due to be released in late 2021, and now all these rumours are circulating that that is going to be Jodie Whittaker's last series as the Doctor. Now, despite being in the role for 3 years, the same length of time as Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, I think the fan base is pretty much united when they say Jodie Whittaker has not really had time to really put a significant mark on the show in terms of her incarnation of the Doctor. Now, there's a load of ideas of exactly why this has happened. We're going to discuss some of them today. However, the main thing we're going to be looking at today is why the 13th Doctor just doesn't seem to have been the success the BBC would have liked it to be. Now, do I think that Jodie Whittaker is the main reason why the 13th Doctor has failed? No, because Jodie Whittaker is a very capable actress. I've seen her in Broadchurch, so she knows how to act. And when it was announced that she was going to be portraying the 13th Doctor, I thought, okay, I'm on board with the Doctor being a woman. I think it could work, could revitalise the show. And The Woman Who Fell to Earth was not bad. You had over 10 million people watching it. So you had the audience there. And the main thing was you needed to get that audience hooked so they would tune in next week and the week after. So you would develop a strong continuous viewing figures again. However, it quickly became apparent that Whittaker's Doctor was not being developed properly. What is there that's unique about Jodie Whittaker? The main thing I can find is that she's a woman. Now that shouldn't be. I shouldn't just look at the 13th Doctor and think, oh well, she's a woman, so that means she's a good incarnation of the Doctor. No, that's not true. To be honest, this is the worst way. When you're making the Doctor a woman, what you want to do is highlight that, yes, she is now a woman. However, nothing much has changed. She is still the Doctor. She is just a different gender. She might act differently because she's a female instead of a male. However, that doesn't matter. She still has the same doctorish qualities. With Jodie Whittaker, they haven't done that. Instead, they've kind of made her the female version of David Tennant. So we've kind of seen that kind of Doctor before, done better because Tennant naturally fit into that kind of role. Whittaker doesn't really fit into that kind of role. So I don't think Jodie Whittaker is a bad actress. I just think that her Doctor is so underdeveloped that I don't even think Tennant or Smith or even Capaldi could have really done anything with the material. So that means, where does the blame lie? Well, in one word, Chibnall. Chris Chibnall is the worst showrunner in Doctor Who's history. And to just highlight how bad Chibnall is, you just have to look at what happened when Chibnall took over from Stephen Moffat and when Moffat took over from Russell T Davies. Now, back in 2010, when Moffat took over from Davies, everyone was nervous because David Tennant was a very popular actor in the role of the Doctor, and the BBC didn't even know if they wanted to continue the show without Tennant's involvement. So Moffat had a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And how did he deal with it? He dealt with it very effectively, like a showrunner could. He made it clear that the fundamentals, the principles of Doctor Who was not going to change under his watch. He said that yes, the show would be reinvented, however, we will not lose what Doctor Who is. He kept on a lot of the writers who had written during the Davies era to continue that continuity and tradition, and he also didn't change the format of the show. He made it clear it was going to be 12, maybe 13 episodes, just like it had been under Davies. There would be story arcs, and nothing would really change. Now, when Chris Chibnall took over from Moffat, he basically did a new broom approach in the way he swept away everything that Doctor Who was before. He fired all of the writers who had written for Doctor Who previously, even ones who had been writing since the 2005 revival. He changed the day that Doctor Who was aired to Sunday rather than Saturday. He changed the length episodes would be in, as well as the number of episodes there would be. And he also said for Series 11 at least that there would be no story arc. They'd all be standalone episodes. Now, this is when people like myself started to worry, because when you sweep away everything that there was before, it kind of highlights that you're not really following the tradition. You just want to create a completely new show. Now, the biggest mistake Chibnall made was getting rid of the writers. He brought on a new cohort of writers who had never written in sci-fi before. And I don't really know why this was. I get the idea that Chris Chibnall is a very arrogant writer. He doesn't like being in a room with writers who are more experienced than him. So his way of dealing with this was to fire any writer who might have more experience writing Doctor Who and sci-fi than him, so he would be the most experienced person in the room. And that was his biggest mistake, because some of these writers, like Toby Whitehouse, for example, could have stood up to Chibnall and said, wait a minute, this storyline is not making sense, your writing is just not good enough. And Chibnall wouldn't have liked that. He wouldn't have liked to be challenged by his writers. So he brought on writers who were very inexperienced so he could seem, I don't know, like the best around them. And I think that's why the 13th Doctor has failed, because Chibnall has an inability to write effectively. Chibnall's scripts often spend 2/3 of the writing building up stuff, and then the last third quickly finishing it off in a way which leaves you really unfulfilled, and it just feels like, well, what was the point of watching that? It doesn't make any sense. Chibnall's scripts don't really make sense. Now, I want to hope that, you know, after Jodie Whittaker has left and they get another Doctor in the role, I hope the show improves. However, it is not going to improve if you have Chris Chibnall as head writer and executive producer. Chibnall is terrible. He has no understanding of what Doctor Who is. I know he's been a fan, you know, from his youth. However, he's completely lost touch with the programme. He's so up himself, so arrogant that he needs to be gone. If he do a new broom on him, remove him as showrunner, and then the 14th Doctor and Series 14 of the show might just have a chance. Keep him on, and I personally think Doctor Who will not make it to its 60th anniversary. I think it will be cancelled before then, because Chibnall is killing this show slowly. And the viewing figures are highlighting that less and less people are watching it now. So I don't think Doctor Who will be around for much longer, which is very sad, because I've watched the show since 2005. I've loved every single minute of it. And it's just so sad to see something which you've watched since childhood slowly die. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And the one good thing about Jodie Whittaker leaving is that all of the newspapers and all the online sources have now started to turn against Chris Chibnall, because without a female in front of the show, which of course they couldn't really turn on before because it might be seen as sexist and not politically correct, now all of the attention is being drawn to Chris Chibnall and how bad the state of the show is in. So that's something to look forward to. Let's hope the BBC finally realise what's going on and fire Chibnall before he kills off this show. And I will see you in another video. See ya!